So, class, we have looked at the Virginia plan and also the New Jersey plan. All right, so now it's time to compromise and come to a better a better plan, a better compromise, and that's called the Great Compromise. So, a little bit about what was the Great Compromise. First of all, in Congress, often there are special committees that are assigned to work on different projects. Some are in charge of tax legislation. Some are in charge of foreign affairs and military. And this is where we start to see these special committees come about in the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. All right, remember we are still there. So a special committee that was assigned to work on the Virginia plan and New Jersey plan. They were working together. They were having a good civil discourse about it, a good debates about it, but they couldn't come to a compromise. So the result ended up being what was called the Great Compromise, or the Connecticut Plan. All right, so they came together. They decided that we could finally figure something out to get this Constitutional Convention rolling. So delegates from Connecticut, Roger Sherman and Oliver Ellsworth, worked on a wonderful plan called the Connecticut Plan, or as I like to call it, the Great Compromise. So what was the Great Compromise? First of all, you have your U.S. Senate and your House of Representatives. Hopefully you have heard of this before. If not, that is perfectly okay. We're going to go over this the next couple weeks. But in the Great Compromise, they decided, remember the big thing was, should big states get more representatives or should smaller states get an equal amount? So they didn't know what terms to come to, and they decided on this compromise. And what it was that the House of Representatives, our Congress members, should be elected by us, the people, and that would be based on proportional representation. All right. So what does that mean? All right, think about that. Does that mean states like California would have more people in the House of Representatives or less? All right, think about the population. Think about that for a couple seconds. So they would have more because they have a higher population. So also, the Great Compromise decided that there should be equal representation of each state in the Senate. All right, this is to protect those smaller states like Rhode Island, where Family Guy takes place. All right, so the House of Representatives on the right has about 435 members, and they have the power to develop all bills for taxation and government spending. All right, so right now they are talking about a stimulus plan that could affect you. All right, and the Senate also has many powers, but we're going to look at that in more detail next couple of weeks. But they can accept or reject a bill. So what did the states end up receiving? So the small states gained equal representation in the Senate, and they wanted that. They wanted equal representation. So each state has 2 senators. All right, so a total of 100 senators for the United States Senate. All right, the large states, they gave up control of the Senate because California and Rhode Island, they have the same amount of senators, but they kept control of the House with a larger population. So they have more members based on population. So we look at this. I love this infographic here. What is the difference between the Senate and the House of Representatives? I'm not going to read this directly, but you guys could check this out. Is it a good chart to check out? And finally, this is a little bit about how the House of Representatives works, how Congress works. So remember, Congress is based on what? All right, Congress is based on population. So every 10 years they take a census, which we're gonna do. We're gonna practice. Please complete your census if you have it. But every 10 years they take a census and they decide what states have more populations than others. What types of funding are we gonna give to these district states? For the most part, most of you probably live in District 13, maybe District 6. It just depends on where you live. So District 13 is my district, and Congressman Tim Ryan represents our views. He works in D.C. in Congress. But basically, we have 16. Okay, we have 16 districts, and we have in each of those districts there is 1 representative, and also we have 2 senators. So 16 plus 2 that equals 18, and that's where we get that 18 for the Ohio Electoral College. And we're going to look a little bit more about that this week. Our homework assignment. We are going to go over in another video because I'm reaching the limit on this. But it's a couple videos to watch about how a bill becomes a law. And finally, that stimulus plan that is being discussed in Congress. And then if it passes in Congress, it will go to the Senate. And if it passes in Senate, where does it go next? I want you to think about that. All right, so I look forward to seeing your work from this week. Have a great week, and you know what to do. If you have any questions, always email me or Google Meets me. All right, have a good day.